Hey everybody, hunter, fisher, trapper, trader, guide, scout, and interpreter, and just a country cook, Steve Hall, here in Nashville, Tennessee, along with pretty Miss Sheila running that camera. Hi, Sheila.
Hi.
Today we're going to make clam stuffies. We're going to use some nice Cherrystone clams. I got about a dozen of them down here in this pan. And what I did is I scrubbed them up real good with a plastic brush. Then I put them in cold water with a lot of salt, about a half a cup, and let them sit in there for about 2 hours so they'd go ahead and purge the sand out. And now they're ready to open up. And you can do it two ways. You can either get a knife or a special knife made just for this, cut the muscle on both sides and then hollow it out and do all that stuff. And a lot of people want to open them with a knife and chop them up raw, so when they make the stuffies and put them back in the oven, they only cook them once. But you can also do it another way, I think. We're going to cheat. We're going to put these in the oven at 350 degrees. I do this for all the people that watch our show because I want to make it easy for you. Just put these in the oven just the way they are. Don't have to put water in. We're not going to steam them or anything. At 350 degrees for about 6 or 7 minutes, and they'll start to open up on their own. When they do, I'm going to open them up and I'm going to hollow them out with a spoon so you don't get cut and I don't either. And then we're going to chop everything up and make them into a nice dressing. We're going to pack it back in the shell that it came in. We're going to bake it in the oven. It's going to be fantastic. First of all, I want to say a big shout out to Leland at the seafood department at Whole Foods. He picked these all out and we had a little conversation. If you get one and it's open and you tap him, if he don't close, he's bad. If you get one and he's closed and you steam him and he don't open, he's also bad. So those are the ones you want to throw away. So these all look pretty good. We'll see if they all open up. If they don't, we'll discard the ones that don't, and we'll move on from there. I'm going to put these in the oven right now at 350 degrees for about 6-7 minutes. Kind of keep an eye on them. Then we're going to bring them back, and I'll show you what we're going to do next. All right, we're going to start on our stuffing mix. Give this just a little bit of olive oil. I got some dried, uncured chorizo. I don't actually want sausage in this stuffing, but I want the flavor. So I sliced off about 4 little discs, and I'm going to render these down in here and get all, oh man, it smells so good, and get all that flavor. Turn that down just a hair. I'm going to get all the flavor from this. And the reason I'm doing it this way is because I cubed these up and I cooked them. I don't care how long you saute them, they're like eating little bullets. So, because it's a dried chorizo, you could probably use raw and cook it in there, but I'm just using these little dried pieces and letting all the fat and spices that are in them saute for a minute. I think they have sweated long enough. Let's see if I can get them out of here. They have served their purpose and left their mark on society with all that oil down in there and flavor. And now it's time to add what's known in Cajun cooking as the Holy Trinity. That's a half a cup of onions, a half a cup of celery, and a half a cup of red bell peppers. That's going to really give some flavor to our stuffing. I'm going to soften these up a little bit. Alright, these are starting to soften up real nice. Let me give this a little shot of white wine. This is just white wine off the shelf at Kroger's for cooking. You can use a better quality white wine that you like to drink as well. I put in about 1/8 of a cup. It's going to evaporate, cook away. I'm also going to put in some seasoning here, herbs I should say. That's kind of a blend. Herbs from Provence or whatever. I'm going to put them in there. Just about a teaspoon of them total. And I'm also, at the end of this cooking process, I'm going to put some garlic in there, but I don't want to put the garlic in until last because I don't want to burn it. Oh, it's looking good. Even smells good. Now it's time for our clam juice. Now you can steam your clams, let them open up, save that juice, run it through a rag, strain it, then reserve it and pour it in here, or you can just go buy clam juice off the top shelf right by the tuna fish. We're going to put in about 1/4 of a cup of clam juice in there to put that clam flavor into our veggies. Now it's time for the garlic. Chuck a little of that in there, about a teaspoon of minced garlic. Man, this stuff just smells so good. I'm really excited about what the finished product's going to be. I've been wanting to do stuffed clams, or clam stuffies they call them, for a long time, and I couldn't find any clams. They don't have them at Kroger's. I called Publix and all they had was them little teeny baby clams, and then I called Whole Foods and they said, yep, we have Cherrystones. Those are those nice big ones which are perfect for digging the clam meat out and then stuffing the stuffing back in, then bake them in the oven. That's exactly what we're going to do. Let me let this simmer and cook down for a little bit until it starts to dry out just a little bit. Then we're going to put it over here in our bowl. See you in a minute. Alright, we have softened our garlic, our holy trinity, which is the red bell peppers and the celery and the onions, our garlic, a little splash of red wine, our clam juice. There's a little liquid left in here, but that's okay because we're going to add breadcrumbs to it, and that'll soak it all up. So let me turn this off here, because I'm getting nervous. I want to go check my clams in the oven to make sure they haven't cooked too much, because I want to get them out when they're still about half raw, but I'm using the oven to open them up instead of digging around with some sort of a knife. Plus I kind of want this to cool over here anyway. Let me go check on the clams. Well, I already did three of them here, and I wanted to show you, see how they open up just a little bit. Now you can take your knife and cut that muscle on that side, turn it around, and cut that muscle on that side, and then take your thumb, push it right open. And Sheila come up with this idea, just grabbing that meat with some tongs in the middle. And see, this is still raw, and that's what we want, because we don't want to cook it twice. Let me go ahead and do that. I know there's a million ways to do this, but I like it where you don't have to fight to get in there because it's already open 1/4 of an inch. You just make a little cut on that side, turn it around. I'm going to have to wash this little mitt here.
Yes, you are.
And then cut, and one little cut on that side. And as soon as you make those cuts, you can just take your thumb and open it right up. Really nice. I know all the clam shuckers all around the world are laughing at me, but that's the way I'm doing it, so I don't have to mess with struggling to get that open when I can just put it in the oven for about 6 minutes, make 2 gentle cuts, falls right open, take out the yet raw meat, pretty raw, and still, and I'm doing it over this pan, so I'm saving all the juice because I'm going to use some of that. Now we're going to clean these shells up real good so we can stuff it back in there. Let me get the rest of these out of here by making the 2 little cuts. One here and one here. And it just falls open. Ta-da! See you in a minute. We have all of our beautiful clams over here. We got some of our shells cleaned over here. And I kind of want to show you the most dangerous part about this. If you're going to clean these up, and Sheila's going to take them in and wash them in the kitchen, then we're going to stuff them, is I take it and I twist this shell, then this little bit right here, I kind of shave that off. Then these 2 muscles, you know, the ones that we cut to get it open, they are tough to get out of there. So you want to cut away from your hand, dig with the tip of a knife. Can you see that, Sheila? They are tough to get out, but do not cut towards yourself. I know you can't probably see it on that side. And there's that one. Then get something solid you can get up against. And really got to dig. Then you can get them out. But boy, they love to stay home. That is tough scraping. So be careful with your knife when you're cleaning that up. I just wanted to show you that. Now we're going to get them all cleaned up and we're going to cut up these clams. Thank you, Sheila.
You're welcome.
She went in and washed out all these little shells. Now they don't tell you when you're going to make clam stuffies that once you twist it apart, you got to shear off that little part right there, and you got to struggle to cut them little pockets out where those little tendons are. You could use a bench grinder, but man, oh man, that's something else. So anyway, now we're going to cut up our delicious clams that are still half raw, which is a good thing, because we only steamed them barely open in the oven. Cut each one of these clams here in about 4 pieces, because we want to, when you bite into it, you want a good bite of clam when you're having your clam stuffy. And even though I got quite a few veggies over here on the side, I might not use them all. Now, you would use them all if you had more clams. I only had a dozen, is what I picked out there. Or I should say Leland got them for me. Thank you, Leland. Good choice, because we didn't lose a single one. Now, he handed me those clams out of the ice, packed them up, and he said, let me go in the back and get you some ice and make sure that they travel well on the way home. So Whole Foods, you guys need to clone him and put him in every store, because all my clams made it to the house fresh. Everyone was alive. They all opened up. Everything. So I think that's about what we're looking for right there. Now I'm just going to move this over here for a second, and I'm going to grab me a little glass bowl, and I'm going to put in some breadcrumbs that are regular breadcrumbs in this container here. And then I also ground up a few of these 10-minute stuffing mix, seasoned, to give it a little more seasoning flavor. We'll do this a little batch at a time, but I'm going to put in about just about that much, maybe a little less. Maybe, I'll say 2/3 of a cup. Then I'm going to add a little lemon juice to this. And a little of that clam juice. And I'll put all the ingredients in the description box below and the amounts that I used. And a little bit of chopped up parsley in here, fresh parsley. I went to the store and got a little bit of it. Chopped it up. We're going to kind of mix this together. And then we're going to add this to our veggies to make our stuffing. Oh, that's looking good. That looks terrific. Boy, and it just smells wonderful too. Really smells good. This, man, wow. That is absolutely incredible, and it doesn't even have the clams in there yet. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to grab another bowl, because I want to mix 50-50. However many clams you got, that's how much stuffing mix you want to use, which is about that right there. I got a little left in there, but I don't want to eat just stuffing. I want it so that you got clams in every bite and not just breading packed in there. Boy, don't that look good, Sheila?
It does.
Wow. Now we're going to take this mix and we're going to pack it in here in our shells. And then we're going to take a little dusting of our breadcrumbs and put it on top. That'll help brown a little bit better. Let me get these stuffed in here. Oh man, That just looks so good, you have no idea. In fact, I'll just do it over the breadcrumbs over here. I got stuff all over this counter, but that's all right. You can dome these up a little bit more, but I'm trying to kind of make this stretch some. Next time I might get 2 dozen clams. All right. Let me finish these up. Be right back with you. Now what I did here is I wrinkled up some aluminum foil and laid it in here to kind of hold these upright. I've seen where you could put some salt in there. And I've also seen where people take these little pans, these little muffin pans, and set them in there like that to bake them in the oven. But I thought we only had 6. I'd just go ahead and use this little casserole dish. We're going to put this in the oven at 375 degrees and till it's nice and golden brown on top. And there's one thing I forgot. When I was making the stuffing, before I added to the vegetables, I forgot to pour a little butter in there. And I had it here. I just heated it up again. Let's see how this works out. Sheila says, why don't you just drizzle a little bit on top? And I said, well, I'll give it a try. We'll see what happens. If I'm easy enough so I don't wash off the crumbs. Looks like that's kind of soaking it up. That might work out pretty good, Sheila. Good idea. What are we going to do with those shells? Because we're not throwing them shells away. This only made 6 of these stuffies, so we cleaned up all the shells from all 12, which means we cleaned up 24 shells because each half will make a stuffy. But we're going to keep them. We've got them all cleaned and ready to go. What are we going to do with them, Sheila?
We're going to put them in the china cabinet.
No, we're not going to put them in the china cabinet. Well, anyway, this butter was supposed to go into the stuffing mix, but I'm going to drizzle it on top, and who knows, it might work out better this way. We're going to put it in the oven 375 degrees until they're golden brown, and we'll be back, and I'll tell you exactly how long that takes. Instead of saying, well, we're going to put it in there for 20 minutes or 30 minutes, I like to put it in, time it, and when it comes out, bring it back and say, hey, gang, these took X amount of time. We'll see you in X amount of time. And there you have it, Cherrystone Clam Stuffies, golden brown, just back from the oven. Let me tell you what I did. I put them in there for about 25 to 30 minutes and they weren't getting dark, so I bumped it up to 400 degrees. And unlike a pizza, I bumped it up to 425 and only took about another 5 minutes to get nice and golden brown, and they look great. Let's take a picture for the front of the YouTube channel. This is called a thumbnail picture. Go ahead and stop the camera, Sheila, and let's take some pictures. Fantastic job on the thumbnail picture, Sheila.
Well, thank you.
There's a few things I want to talk about. One, you can steam them all the way open in a pot. I like doing them in the oven till they open up this much. I was impatient. Let them cool first, because then you can just stand them on the back end and make that cut on each side, and you don't have to use a mitt and work with them when they're hot. I'll tell you that. And this is the result of 12 clams, because I wanted quite a bit of clam. I don't want all stuffing. It made 6. Now we kept the shells in there because now when we do them, we'll already have them nice and clean and we can use them for the next batch. So just remember that however many clams you actually buy at the store, you're going to end up with half as many stuffies, and you'll only need one side of the clam. So let me give this a little taste test. I got some Turkey Creek hot sauce here. I want to put just a couple of little drops on there. You don't have to use hot sauce. You can eat them straight up. And a little bit of lemon juice. I am excited. Wow, that is so tender. Even though it's golden brown on top, it is so moist. And I know that that is a big chunk of clam right there. Wow. Only cook them till they barely open, because you do want to start from a raw product and bake them to tenderness like this. Wow-wee. I got to have one more little bite out of there. I'm sorry. What can I say? That is terrific. I got to tell you, they're fantastic. They taste great. And we learned some things with this recipe because this was our first batch. We don't mind admitting that. And I was kind of shocked that we only ended up with half as many stuffies as we had clams from the store. And again, Leland, thanks for helping us out, picking these out for us. Next time we'll get 2 dozen, so we'll have a dozen stuffies. And we found out that after you steam them barely open, stop, because that's just enough to get that knife in there without fighting at that crack. I know they make knives that are for opening those clams that are dull so you don't cut yourself, but you still got to fight with it. Why not just throw them in the oven till they barely open, then let them cool? I found that out too. Then stand them up and just make that little cut on each side and pop them open, and you're in business. I hope you enjoyed this recipe because I know that I love the taste of this, and I will be back to Whole Foods to get me some more of these Cherrystone clams. I hope you enjoy our recipes, and we really hope you subscribe to our channel. Little Shotgun Red's face will pop up over here in just a little bit. When it does, click on subscribe, and right next to subscribe is a little bell. Honey, you see how my mouth waters when I'm trying to think about eating those and talk at the same time?
Yes, sir.
And right next to subscribe is a little bell. If you click on that and highlight it, then you'll be notified every time we come out with a new recipe, like these little Cherrystone Clam Stuffies. I'll put another kind of a playlist over here that you can click on, easy to make stuff. And is this the most delicious Cherrystone Clam Stuffies you ever made? If it ain't, it ought to be. We'll see you next time right here on Cooking with Shotgun Red. All the ingredients and everything you need to know is right under the picture, right under the video, I should say. You never have to go to a website to get any of our directions or ingredients. But if you are out snooping around, we hope you sneak over to shotgunred.com and check out all the stuff that they have over there. DVDs and different goodies, fish breading that's outstanding. Wow. That is really, really good. We'll see you next time. Say goodnight, Sheila.
Good night, Sheila.
Bye-bye for now.